everybody! What's going on? My family and I got back from our family vacation in Florida. My husband's friend was getting married in Key Largo, so we decided to make a family trip out of it. My bright idea, because I love to travel. We started off in Legoland and we drove down to Fort Lauderdale, spent the night there, went to the beach, and then from there we drove down to Key Largo where we stayed for the rest of the visit. We had so much fun. My kids didn't want to come home. We didn't want to come home, my husband and I, and here we are though, back home. While I was in Key Largo, I had to do a morning dive. I mean, how can you go to Key Largo and not dive? I couldn't do it. So the dive shop that I went to was Country Public Divers, who were highly recommended, and now that I dove with them, I highly recommend them as well. They were great. I have zero complaints. I met Ashley, the owner, and she was wonderful. I rented all my gear aside from my dive mask and my dive computer. Normally, if I'm going on a dive trip like I did to Honduras, I would pack my own things, but this was just 2 dives, and I wasn't gonna lug 50 plus pounds of gear just for 2 dives, so I decided to rent everything. It was a very laid-back place, but top-notch on safety, which is what you really want with diving. And I know I said this before, but there's dive shops out there that don't have high safety standards or any safety standards. So when you're picking a dive shop, make sure they're a credible dive shop, make sure they have a good reputation with safety procedures and with everything. And this dive shop definitely does, so it was great. I really had a great time, and I will definitely be diving with them again. So in that morning, we did a 2-tank dive on the USS Spiegel Grove. For both dives, I decided to dive with enriched air, and for those of you who don't know what enriched air is, all it is more oxygen in the tank and less nitrogen. And I dove enriched air for a few different reasons. In the near future, I'm going to make an entire episode on enriched air and oxygen toxicity, so stay tuned for that. But for the sake of this video, and for those of you who know what enriched air is, my first tank was 30% oxygen, which is a MOD of 121 feet, and my second tank was 31% oxygen, which is an MOD of 116 feet. Now on to the shipwreck itself. Me being how I am, I like to give you a little bit of information about the wreck itself other than just showing you the footage. So if you want to just see the footage and skip the informational part, then you can skip ahead to this time, but I highly recommend learning something new today if you don't know anything about this wreck. The USS Spiegel Grove was a Thomaston-class dock landing ship in the U.S. Navy. It was commissioned on June 8, 1956, and decommissioned on October 2, 1989. Upon commissioning, its primary role was to transport and launch amphibious aircrafts, vehicles, and troops during these operations. The ship supported U.S. Navy and Marines amphibious assault missions, training exercises, and readiness operations, particularly during the Cold War era, which is roughly 1947 to 1991. The wreck itself is located 6 miles off the coast of Key Largo, Florida, and it ranges in depth from 45 to 130 feet. And the ship is 510 feet in length, and it's 84 feet wide. It's really, really big. It was scheduled to be intentionally sank as an artificial reef, but it sank unexpectedly 6 hours before its scuttling on May 17, 2002. And it rolled over pretty much with its stern on the bottom and its bow protruding out of the water in the Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary. Resolve Marine Group finished scuttling the ship on June 10, 2002, and corrected the position to its starboard side, which is its right side. Not perfectly upright, but safe and stable. In July 2005, Hurricane Dennis hit. And this hurricane turned the ship completely upright, which is mind-blowing to me and just goes to show you how powerful Mother Nature really is. And upright is where she's been since 2005. This ship is enormous. It weighs shy of 8,900 long tons unloaded. In its prime, it held 21 landing crafts, 8 helicopters, and 300 troops. Because of the depth of this ship, I keep a close eye on my NDL and my air consumption. And in the beginning, especially that first dive, I make it a point with myself to check in with myself frequently. This is a new dive site. It is a deeper dive. I'm diving it twice. And I'm not diving it with my crew that I normally dive with. I'm buddied up with somebody that I just met. But despite all that, I was excited all the same. My dive buddy was also a solo diver that day, so it did work out great. He was really nice. He asked about my comfort level. He asked me if I wanted to enter the shipwreck, which he dove on many times before. We actually did explore a lot of the interior on the different decks. I did get to see Snoopy riding the alligator on the floor, so that was really cool too. We went to the bow of the ship and we saw the flags. It was a great experience and I really appreciated how chill and respectful he was. This is a 17-minute video, but I did shorten it from 39 minutes, and I really can't shorten it anymore. This has the footage from both dives in it, so they're kind of mixed up a little bit. It's worth it. I mean, it's a really cool wreck. I hope you like it, so enjoy. If you are a diver, or you're interested in diving, or you know somebody who might be interested in diving and just want to know more information about it or see footage, be sure to like and subscribe and share this page so you never miss an episode. Enjoy the wreck, guys. See you later.